Papa, now you love me so, and you know my name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
You know my name, oh Daddy.
You know me, you know my name.
I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah.
You know me, you know my name.
Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yeah, yeah.
Yelele, yelele, yelele.
Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the feel. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I look around, now you are the feel. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Abba Father,
Yeah.
you know me, you know my name.
Papa, you know my name, oh. Hey.
You know me, you know my name.
Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yelele, 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 yelele.
Yeah, yeah.
Yelele, yelele, yelele.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father,
You know me, you know my name.
Papa, you know my name, oh.
You know me, you know my name.
Yelele, 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 yeah.
Yelele, yelele,
Hey, yeah.
yelele, yelele.
Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele,
Yelele, yelele, yelele.
oh, oh.
Yelele, yelele, yelele.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Yes, and that was it. Abba Father, you know me and you know my name. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Welcome. This is the hour for our history. And I'm glad to announce to you that today, the 26th of August 2022, we are going to be receiving one of our guests who will be telling us very fundamental stories. And these are not just stories. Remember, this is actually to help you make it not only in Boya, but to know that people who have gone ahead of you have fought and have stood the test of time. And we are going to stand the test of time and make it in Boya. While we are actually waiting for our guests to come in, I want to continue to let you to know that we are mindful of our restoration fighters who are on home front, and we send you 21 gun salutes. And when we say our restoration fighters at home front, we are absolutely talking about all of you who, in one way or the other, you are supporting our fight, our struggle. When you see something and you report something, when you see something and you say something, you are in that battle together with us. And we do really, really and sincerely appreciate your contribution. I've heard a number of Ambazonians out of Ambazonia in different countries, especially in some countries in Africa, and I hear them call on ABC and ask questions like, "What are you people doing? What are you people saying?" When I hear those kind of questions, I laugh, and at the same time, I pity these very young people because they forget to know that the questions they are asking, they actually supposed to answer the questions. I overheard one saying he doesn't know his LGA, but he has been contributing. To whom have you been contributing, sir? You see, that is where we scatter our seed, not knowing exactly where we are planting. And when you do that, the gullibles outside there who are actually benefiting from this fight that is going on, which we did not declare, they are very happy and they go ahead and they eat. And then at the end of the day, you come to ask the people who are working questions that they cannot absolutely answer. And so we would like to remind all of us that as far as this fight is concerned, you are very much involved. And because you are very much involved, we don't want to leave you in ignorance. That is why we want you to remember. Go ahead and remember.
Let us rejoice and be glad. Hallelujah. Jesus died for me. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember that Jesus died for me. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember that Jesus set me free. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember that Jesus set me free. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I
Thank you very much, Sister Josephine and Annie, for that rendering. We will always remember. 21 gun salute once again to the people of Ambazonia. And today we have pieces of current events that we have put together to keep you going. And these pieces of current events are actually what is pushing us to be very, very resilient and resistance. This never again generation has absolutely and actually taken up upon itself to do what is best when human beings are turning into animals. Why do I say so? I say so because a lot of people that knows that this is the truth have bought a very wrong narrative and they are running with that narrative. And it's rather very unfortunate that a number of people who have refused, not that there is nobody instructing them, but many of them have refused to run with the narrative that is the knowledgeable and correct narrative. And so next week, I might be suspending our history, and for that week, I might take up church and politics again so that you can be well informed. So next week, I will be talking so much on church and politics. And so get ready, invite friends to be with me on that beginning Monday, right down to Friday. I shall be emphasizing on church and politics. But today, that does not mean that when I go into that study, I will leave off our history. Once in a while, I'll be bringing in our history. But for now, I think many of us Ambazonians, we actually know And I think that we should know more of what we are actually coming out from and entering into, and for the people of Ambazonia to know where their fight emanates from and where the fight is going. So I would like to crave your indulgence today to listen attentively and to get ready, because our resource person will be joining us not too long from now in the person of Jutanga, and we will go ahead and actually break it down the way it's supposed to be and the way it ought to go. Ladies and gentlemen, people of Ambazonia, I want to encourage you. If you have your question, if you have your doubt, look at the phone number on the board, on the screen, sorry, and then give us a shout. We will be more than willing to answer your question. But I want to remind you that we will not waste time in trying to answer unfounded and unserious questions. The unfounded and unserious questions are especially from Ambazonians. I know that a true Ambazonian will not ask a very silly and stupid question, but I know that those of them who have been brought over by the Republic and will want to distract us will be asking questions that are not founded. And such questions, we definitely will not be ready to answer such questions, because our time is very precious, and we do not want to waste any time on this platform to talk about speculations and other things that are not really building. I told you there is a team, and I congratulate that team of serious Ambazonians who have discovered and have decided to make sure that the wrong narratives that are given out there to the real people and take them out of the way, those wrong narratives are debunked. And I want to thank that team very well and congratulate you for what you are doing. I want to say that the Amazonian people are standing with you in the narratives and what you are doing to keep us going. With that said, I want to reiterate here and tell the Amazonian people that as far as Ambazonia is concerned, we have gone very, very far, and we are not looking back. Yes, we are not looking back anytime soon. We are engaged, and we are going, and we will continue to go. So if you are with us, we want to invite you to come into the studios right now, or not into the studios, get to your phone or to your TV set, invite other people, tell the people the Amba history is on. The Ambazonian history is such a history that we cannot just keep quiet. Although we believe and think that many people have actually gotten and they have known the history and they have the history and they're now working with the history, at the same time, we will not want to leave you to be ignorant that, as Reverend Sama did mention in the advice he was given to us, and this is actually to people who believe and know that God knows their name as he knows the name of Ambazonia. That message was actually for such people. Yeah, I was just saying that there are a lot of people out there who have decided to be confused. Listen to me very well. There are a number of people out there who have decided to be confused. You say, but what are you saying? Exactly what I'm saying. That there are a number of people out there who have decided to be confused. How have they decided to be confused, may I ask? when you are coming from a house, I've even discovered that after La Republique had drugged and is drugging a number of Amazonians in that stupor of their drunkenness after taking the devil in solution and the urine of Satan, which is intoxicating and toxic, they still find a way to go back to their homes. What am I saying? I'm saying that for you to sit on the fence and be asking questions like, how are you people doing? How far? You make me to laugh because some of you are thinking that after we have suffered and fought and lost people in order to get this land, you will just walk in. I'm sorry to tell you that maybe at the point of your walking in, because you want to go and eat where you have not labored, you may not enter the land. You say, historian, you are cursing us. No. You know, people don't like to be told the reality and to be told the truth. Yes, they don't like the truth. When you are telling them the truth, they reverse it and try to make you to look guilty. No, we are not guilty in what we are saying. I'm saying that you may not enter that land. I remember a certain very rich man and a man that the king of that land was relying on him for much information. And one day, a prophet of God appeared in that land and told the king that there will be plenty of food after tomorrow. I'm just paraphrasing now. And this person on whom the king relied and listened to him very profoundly made a careless statement against God. He said, even if God will open the windows of heaven, that was casting a doubt on the personality and the deity and divinity of God. And you know what? You can't challenge God and go scot-free. Something will happen somewhere, somehow, and you will know that you have touched the untouchable. And as we have said, that this is a fight dedicated and actually for God. If you come in and you use whatever mockery you use to discourage the people and thinking that you will just walk into that land, you may be making a very big mistake, because God does not joke with anybody who plays with his name and play with people who have dedicated and whom have said that they now belong to God and given over everything to God, like it has been said of this revolution. Now, a lot of people were shaking in a few months past when there was like terrible earthquake in the revolution, and people come out with a lot of lies to make sure that they dissuade the Amazonian people from going ahead with whatever they had to do to go ahead. And when they discovered that, a lot of people were like, everything is finished. But guess what? I have been told and reliably informed that there are some countries, America being one of the countries, that when they were fighting for their war of liberation, it came to a point where almost everybody, you can imagine 70% of people being against you and looking away from what you are doing. Guess what is going to happen to you? 70%, as it is written, that majority carries the vote. But unfortunately, in this matter, when it comes to God, majority does not carry the vote. When you sin against God, a minority will deal with you. That's how the few people of Ai had to deal with the children of Israel who had conquered nations and nations and nations. Why did they deal with them? Because they had committed evil. They had eaten the accursed thing. They had taken the forbidden fruit. And today, we have a lot of people who have taken and eaten the forbidden fruit, and they think that they can eat that forbidden fruit and betray Ambazonia. Unfortunately, no. The answer is no. You cannot eat the forbidden fruit and then hang it on the neck of Ambazonians. No, it will not work. Yeah, it will not work. If you put it on the necks of the Ambazonians, they will vomit it out because that is not their calling. And so, Ambazonians, I want you to remember that George Washington, some of you don't know him, who fought for the independence of America, when he turned around, he saw that almost everybody had left him. But he had a few people who were standing by him. And I think that in our revolution and our struggle, we need to know that. Britain, that was dominating and trying to overtake them, suddenly discovered that there was a fight somewhere that they did not understand where the power was coming from. But that is the power of God. And that's the power of committing anything to him that has the power to keep and to do. I was telling you of that king. And when this king challenged, the friend of this king challenged the servant of God, the servant of God said, you are going to see the abundance, but you will not partake of it. And we are told in that historical fact that the following day, leopards made a lot of noise, and the Assyrians, the Philistines, who were fighting against the people of God, when they heard the noise of these fighters, they felt that God has come and that they were in trouble. So they started running. And when they started running, they left up all the food that they had. And guess what? There was abundance for the people of Israel on that day. And when this man upon whom the king was leaning came in to kind of regulate the way they were going to carry out the food, he was trampled underfoot, and he died. Please don't underestimate where we are standing, especially you who has confessed that this struggle belongs to God. You have said it with your mouth. Maybe you don't even believe it, but just the saying that it is God, you have already confessed. And that confession of your mouth will bring the salvation that is needed. And this salvation needs just a few people to have the faith and stand with God, of which this government, not the groups that have come in, there are many groups, and if they had come together as groups, they could do something powerful. But without God, they are left useless. They are left empty. And that's why the interim government and the leadership is saying that there is no way we can get out there and do our exploits except God be with us. And we have handed over to that God to be with us. Well, this sister came back and said she wants to remind the people of Ambazonia. But let's hear what she wants to remind us of. I know it is the same, but it is having another inspiration in this reminder now. Let's hear.
When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember, Jesus died for me. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember that Jesus died for me. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember that Jesus set me free. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember that Jesus set me free. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I remember, hallelujah. When I remember the goodness of the Lord. When I
Yes, the goodness of the Lord is to be remembered. An average Ambazonian who does not know that God still works miracles today and that God still fights for his people today has confessed with the mouth, even though the heart does not believe, that this is God's battle. And I want to congratulate all of you who have done that, who have confessed that, and to let you know that your confession, even in unbelief, is helping those of us who believe in God to make up the minority of those who trust in God's action. And I know that you will be a beneficiary to what is happening. But guess what? I want to encourage you this weekend, that is tomorrow to be precise, almost 25 hours from now, or call it 26 hours from now, the Ngo Ketunja shall be drafting, bringing in Ambazonians from far and near to support. Have you heard the recent report from La République du Cameroon? Panic is already caught them. They are shaking and they are reporting some things that we'll just say, thank God. We'll not go into details. Just as some people say, when you come to ABC, don't preach to us, tell us about this and that. No, La Republic does not disclose to you the criminal activities that they're going to carry out in Ambazonia. But we have been very, very fair, letting them know that they are in a wrong territory, because he who is right needs fear no fault. And all the games that they have played and the games have expired, they all know that the games have expired. Yet they are struggling to make sure that they continue. But guess what? We have let them know that we are the generation that is never going back. And if you have joined us in this generation that says we are not retreating, we are not going back, there is no ceasefire, La Republic must leave our land. If you are amongst that generation, please join us. Join us tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th of August, 2022. And I'm telling you, you'll be doing your homeland duty. You'll be doing your social duty for the people of Ambazonia. The oppression and oppressing us is over. We can't take it no more. Oh yes, that is the truth. We cannot take it no more. And because we cannot take it no more, we are advising all of you to join us. Let's send these fellows out of our land. It happened like that in other places, and the people are free. Our people are dying on the sea, in the deserts, trying to go look for pastures. But I'd like you to just go back a little bit and look at the wars that took place before these people were free. It's exactly what is happening today with us. But you want to have your freedom without fighting for it? It's not possible. Let me tell you something. History makes us to understand that when a child comes into this world, to make sure that that child is whole and is doing well, he comes out with a shout, with a cry. If the child does not cry, crying is not attributed to a sound of joy. When somebody is crying, go and find out. There is pain. And so when a child gets into this world, the first thing he realizes is that he's in a strange place and he cries. That is also very indicative. And so we, the Amazonian people, must not sit down and fold our hands and expect foreigners to come and give us our land, while they have seen milk and butter and they are drinking the milk and eating the butter, and they want them to come and give you as you sit on your round table. It doesn't work like that. That's why we are encouraging you, come in and let's be of support to those who are at home, those who are displaced, those who are lavishing and being painted away in different countries as a result of this invasion. You all remember the 4 hours that the colonial prefect, that's what they call the DIO, divisional officer for Manfe, got up on that fateful night, on that fateful day, and told the people to disappear. Before he remembered, Thank God for him because he actually made in such a way that a number of people were saved. That the people would have just finished killing us and killing us and killing us. I'm just told they walked into one village a few days ago and left 3 young men dead. Can you imagine that? But Ambazonians, be encouraged. Your battle is on, and he who is fighting for you is fighting for you, and you will not leave your land for some people to come and possess it. You will not, because it will not work. All right, sister, okay, come in. You want to say something? All right.
When I remember, hallelujah, when I remember that Jesus died for me, when I remember, oh yeah, when I remember the goodness of the Lord, when I remember, hallelujah, when I remember the goodness of the Lord, when I remember, oh yeah. When I remember the goodness of the
All right. Thank you very much, sister. When I remember, we are extremely happy that our historian has just entered the house. I call him historian because he knows the history of Ambazonia. He didn't study history, he did not write history. He's a technical person, but he lived the history of Ambazonia. And with that note, we just want to hand over the microphone to him to share a few things to us concerning this struggle. And one of the things that we would like to hear from him is if he knows of any people who are honest in the world that stood and fought like we are fighting, and many other people went away, but they stood their grounds and entered their land. Now, if you know such people, we would like him to share with us to encourage the people of Ambazonia. Over to you, sir, if you are hearing me.
Yeah, I am very happy to be here with you once again today and to talk about the history of our country. Um, when you talk about struggles like the one we are engaged in today, I think of a country like Eritrea when they wanted to be separated from Ethiopia. I have read that uh, it took them only 19 persons to start the war, and they started and they kept on fighting until today they are a free people. They are independent. They have their own sovereign state. Yeah, so we can do it. We just need to persevere and be determined and to keep on fighting. We will get there by all means. About finding honest people to lead this kind of thing, I will refer you to the case of the civil rights movement in the United States in the 60s, which was led by people like Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Jesse Jackson, and a host of others. These were these were honest people who stood out to fight for their rights, the rights guaranteed in the Constitution of the United States, but not granted to them. They were denied those rights, like the right to vote and many other of those many others of those rights. So they stood up and fought, and gradually they gained ground. They have gained ground since the 60s. They can go about and do a lot of things which they were not able to do in the 60s. There is no more segregation, racial segregation in many public places. This was as a result of their struggle, and they are succeeding. So we too can succeed.
Thank you very much for that example. Now, the last thing before you jump out, possibly of the studios, because of the constraint of your time, why do you think that the clergy and the other conscientious men in La République du Cameroon and especially in Ambazonia are not having this free liberty to go out there and talk like the people you've just mentioned, J.C. Jackson and Martin Luther King and so on? Why can't they go out there and say exactly what these people did in America? Is there a reason why?
Well, uh, the reason that comes to my mind is, first of all, the relationship which the state of Cameroon has with the main religious groups. That's it. They are too close for comfort. Too close for comfort with the government. The clergy is too close for comfort with the government, which makes it difficult for the clergy to criticize the government. So they just see things that are going wrong, but they cannot talk because they themselves are afraid. I hear, but I cannot confirm. I hear that some of them at a certain level receive pecuniary incentives from the government.
Call it bribery and
So
corruption.
I don't know whether you want to call it that, but why it should be that way, I don't know. But I have learned from sources that I would consider uh, reliable that yes, they have some incentives to look the other way. So that's why they go ahead and look the other way.
But
Yeah.
you know the story that the man who pays the piper indicates and dictates the tune.
He who pays the piper calls the tune. That's true. We know that.
Okay, and
And
all right, okay,
and you, if you allow yourself to be paid by somebody, if you are the piper and you allow yourself to be paid by somebody, well, the person will tell you what tune to play.
that's correct.
That's it.
All
Simple.
right, okay. So the other thing that we want to point out here, what do you think of the brutality of La République du Cameroon against even these people who say they are clergy and who are now taking the whatever they are taking from La République to put things down? Don't you think that one of the things is the brutality that they will met out on these people if they dare to
Well,
stand and talk like Martin Luther and Jackson they spoke in those days?
yeah, yes. If they dare to talk, they will be in trouble. Remember the bishop of Bafia who was assassinated, and his corpse thrown
In
into
water.
the river Sanaga.
River
Yeah,
Senegal. Okay.
Sanaga. Yeah, the river between Bafia and Yaoundé. Yeah.
Right.
So those things happen. They want to keep. They want them to remain silent. That's all they're asking of them. When you hear
Now
them,
the
because
mystery behind.
I
Okay, I
I
wanted to
have
ask that the mystery behind his death has it been demystified for people to know that La République du Cameroon is a brutish government and that do not repair. I mean, does not even observe the international laws on human rights and so on.
well, I don't know whether it has been confirmed, but the clergy themselves have pointed an accusing finger
Accusing finger.
to the government.
The
They
government.
have said,
Okay.
you guys are the ones. And one of the persons who was involved, whom they accuse of being involved in it, who worked at the presidency, but he is now of late. So,
Yes, Belinga,
yeah.
Belinga. We know
Well,
Belinga.
I don't know his name, but and that's not
I
important to
know
me.
his name. Yeah, we heard about it. So you are just repeating a story that we know very well. But we just want the Ambazonians
Yeah.
to know that the
Mhm.
clergy that are supposed to be standing for justice before peace, some
Mhm.
of them are being rubbed with some oil in their mouth, as we call it in our
Mhm.
language, and
Mhm.
then some of them are being given incentives, as you call it in grammar. Yeah,
Mhm.
when you grammatize it, you call it incentive. Our people don't fully
Mhm.
understand what incentives are, but we know that incentives is a gift that will blind the eye of a righteous person not to speak the truth.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's it. That's the way the country is run. So they want to have everybody under their control, and they use those pecuniary incentives as a means of keeping the clergy silent. So they behave as if they are not even there, and they allow things to happen when we were expecting them to stand up to the government and say, no, these things you are doing are wrong. And talking about the treatment that has been meted to some of the members of the clergy, I would say
Mhm.
you should make a distinction between the government and the agents of the government. The government might
Okay.
not want them to be hurt physically, but the agents, the soldiers, the policemen, and all those sometimes take the laws too into their own hands and do things which the government up there didn't authorize them to do. Yeah. So the next question is, what happens to these people? Do they even investigate those cases and to know who has done what, and what do they do to the people who are guilty of the crime? We don't know that. They don't do that often. No. Everything is shrouded in secrecy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think because of your time, I will want to let you go for today. But I want
Mm.
to have you back on board as soon as possible because there are a number of things that we need to address. But before you
Mhm.
go, just this one thought, which I want you
Mhm.
to say a thing. Should the church be punished as a result of some uh, few fellows who hide under the name of church and carry out their wicked acts? Should the church be punished for such people? Or what is your counsel to the Amazonian people?
Well, I I personally disapprove of all the criticism, or most of the criticism that has gone on about the church. For the past 2 weeks we keep hearing of, let's burn the churches, let's do this. No, we shouldn't burn any church. The property of the church belongs to the people. The people contributed money to build that. After everything said and done, when we leave, we will still need to rebuild those things. So why should we be wasting our own resources? Let's isolate the church and leave them alone. It's good to say people shouldn't go to church for some time. I agree, but for God's sake, let's not tamper with church property because it belongs to us. It belongs to the people, and let's not hurt the priests because many of them who are most vulnerable, who can be easily reached and harmed, the lower ranks of the clergy that don't have any say in what is happening up there. So you would just be punishing the wrong person, and I would not advise that. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. We should remember God said somewhere, "Vengeance is mine; I will repay." So he was, in saying that, he was admonishing us to leave vengeance to him. We shouldn't take it into our own hands. Let's leave it. He will punish them whatever way he considers right to punish them. Let's not go there. Let's not spill our own blood. It's not good.
Thank you very much, sir. I have somebody who has sent in a question here. If you
Mhm.
are able to stay on, that's fine. But if you are not available, I will try to see how I can look into the question, and you can do what you want to do and come right back. We have
Mhm.
some few
Yes.
more minutes to our time, and
Yes.
I would like to put the question on board right now. Okay, this is the question.
Ask that we leave that until after 5 minutes for the break.
Yes, 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 yes. You
All
are
right.
come back. You can come back.
Yes, yes.
Right. All right. Let's cross over now and listen to this question. Remember the telephone number for you to call and ask your question and ask for clarification is right there on the screen. But let's get this question. Hello, go ahead.
Yes, hello, Pastor Komando. Thank you very much for this opportunity to ask my question, and I want to say kudos to you too for a very nice program about our history. So my question goes: when West Cameroon was joining La République du Cameroon, um, how much did we have in the West Cameroon Bank that we took over? I'm asking this question because we have La Republic historians who are saying that a good chunk of this money was borrowed to Nanga and also Nibangu, and that is so much of the reasons that the money was not recovered, and that's the reason that the bank uh, fault, and that is not the fault of La Republique. So, what can our historian tell us about it? Very much appreciate if some of these things are clear out to our people, because there's a lot going out there which might be untrue. And also, they say a good number of this money were borrowed, and there was no collateral. And some of them, yeah. So that's the insinuation. So, but we really want to understand how all this process took place in those days, yesterday's, and also was when all these our people were carrying out these services contracts that were awarded to them by the government of La Republic. Were they paid? We need to also know, because there is something that when La Republica historians are talking to our people, there are so many things that is only one-sided. So we need to know both sides. Thank you very much, and
All
bye for
right.
now.
Thank you very much for that question. Before we go into answer that question, um, Josephine, presented by Annie, says they want to just tell us to remember. So can we listen to when I remember? Then we'll come back to that answer. All right. Please come in, Annie and Josephine. All right. Thank you very much, Annie. Thank you very much for that remembrance and reminder. Yeah, our sister, to your question, somebody from Homefront has given an answer, and he says that question is unnecessary. Yes, Nanga borrowed and paid ahead of due date. Yeah, this is somebody from Homefront. I would like to encourage the person from Homefront. He knows the answer, and many of us did not know the answer. So you should not say the question is unnecessary. It's very, very necessary, because there are some of us who want to understand what Nanga did and who actually borrowed the money from Cameroon Bank. Now, with that said, we will understand and see here that actually, yes, Nanga borrowed the money and paid ahead of time, as our brother from Homefront has just said. But the bulk and the chunk of the money was borrowed by Bamileke people who at that time did not have the capacity of borrowed more than 500,000, if I may not if I'm not mistaken, from the Cameroon Bank. And the Cameroon Bank was given to the tune of 5 million as a credit to these business people. And because La Republic was never aligned that to go ahead, they turned over and came to West Cameroon, what they called Cameroon Bank at that time, and they borrowed that chunk of money. The second part of the answer that I will tell you as a historian is that actually, when Nanga borrowed this money and was doing contracts with La Republic government, La Republic government did not pay the contracts. That was another way of siphoning the money. And when they did that, when they did what they did, the Ambazonian people, the former British Southern Cameroons, who were honest people, thought that these people were coming to borrow money, were as honest as we are. And by that, they gave in the money, which never was paid back. And that is where the Cameroon Bank crumbled. But according to this, our man from Homefront, he actually said that these people borrowed the money and paid back. And one of the things that made La Republique to take us all away was that the money was borrowed for 99 years. So when you go to borrow money in a bank and they tell you to pay back the money after 99 years, what does that entail? At the end of the day, it's still this person from Homefront that is giving me this information, because I'm sure he's an elderly person and he was there and he knows exactly what we are talking about. Now, let's cross over to our, our guest for today, Mr. Jotanga. I don't know if he's available and on seat to answer us this question, because he's very, very versed with what went on as far as the Cameroon Bank is concerned. Now, in a few minutes, seconds, he will be here with us, and then he will give us the answer to this particular question. But I want to make Ambazonians to know that our Cameroon Bank was destroyed by La Republique. The Nanga Company, the Liba Automobiles, the Che and Bros, the Kilo Company, most of the money they borrowed from this Cameroon Bank, they paid it back. But the bulk of the Bamileke people who took the money never brought it back. And eventually the government also came in and took the bulk of the money that actually crumbled the whole thing. Okay, our resource person is here. Okay, all right, go ahead, sir. I'm sure you heard the question. I'm sure you heard the question about Cameroon Bank.
What was the
Did you get
what
the
was the
question?
question? Could you
Okay,
repeat that
the
to me,
question
please?
is that one of the Ambazonian people is saying that the person heard that the money of the Cameroon Bank was taken away by Nanga Company, that much of the money was given to Nanga and some other Ambazonians, and they never paid back the money, and that is why we became what we are today as far as the Cameroon Bank is concerned.
Well, I am not sure about about the veracity of that story, but I know that the the government of Cameroon intentionally brought down Cameroon Bank because
Okay.
uh, uh, they may have been taking instructions from their masters in France because
France, yeah,
on the
of
French
the accord.
on the French side on the La République side or banks which operated in La République du Cameroon, they were not allowed to finance projects that will enhance development, economic development for the country. They were prohibited from doing that, whereas Cameroon Bank was doing that. That's why a lot of Bamileke people and other business people from over there came over to southern to our banks like Cameroon Bank to
Mhm.
borrow money because they could now invest in infrastructure to set up their small industries.
Mhm.
They were able to do that, and the French didn't want that because the French wanted that kind of investment to be done only by French people in Cameroon. So they instructed them not to lend to people who want to manufacture or provide services that will compete with the French, with products and services provided by the French. So that uh, when applying that policy discriminates between Cameroonians who want to lend money from the banks and the French people. So it is supposed to be of the French because that is French official policy.
Okay. Yes, we understand that the French official policy, which they did with La République du Cameroon in 1958-59, was that no major economic expansion and development should come to anybody in the former British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, and even to their own citizens. And that is why the bulk of money that the Bamileke people borrowed from Cameroon Bank could not be paid back, and even Cameroon government itself came in and borrowed money from there and could not pay back. That caused the bank to collapse. Well, the agreement is still going on now with the French countries, not only with Cameroon, but French countries of Africa. And we, the Ambazonians, are saying that we were not a part of that contract that was signed with France by La République du Cameroon. Now, somebody just sent a note from Homefront here saying that Facebook doesn't, oh no, it's not a person. It said, they found Kabulko, Chief Obi's building company near collapse then. It was owing 121 million. Do you know anything about Chief Obi's building company? They used to
Kabuko,
call it
no. I,
Kabulko.
I have heard of that name, but I don't
Okay,
remember very much about it. Yes, I know it
okay,
was a building company, Kabuko Cameroon Building Company. That's the meaning of
okay.
Kabuko. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
But-
okay.
yeah, but
All right.
I don't know much beyond that.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, our Amazonian brother who is on home front is actually giving us some information. He has some history, and he's trying to tell us that Nanga did not owe Cameroon Bank but paid off ahead of time, and that was La République du Cameroon, which I now concord and agree with you that it was because of the accord that no economic development should come to us, but that it should be done by the French people. Now,
Mhm.
do I find out from you? Do you have any idea whether the French people were borrowing money from the Cameroon bank also to carry out their activities?
Well, the French people didn't need to borrow from Cameroon Bank. I think they were despising Cameroon Bank because they had the biggest banks. They took over Bisec or something. Took over
Yeah.
the Barclays Bank because we started with Barclays Bank.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They took it so that made them bigger. They grew
mm-hmm.
fatter because Barclays Bank was all over southern Cameroon. So they just
Yeah.
expanded by 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 taking over the bank.
Management.
Yeah, yeah, and then they had Societe Generale, and they had
Yeah.
what is called ACB, SCB, Societe
Mm-hmm.
it was
Cameroonese the bank.
originally called Société Commerciale du Cameroun or something. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Société Camerounaise de Banque. Yeah,
General.
okay.
Okay, so the
Yeah,
Cameroonese the bank.
yeah.
What
No,
of
no, no. That one
SGBs?
is different. That one is different from SGBC. SGBC is
Okay.
Société
Okay.
Générale, uh, the, the Banque du Cameroun. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they had sources of of
Everything.
they had
Sorry, go ahead.
sources of revenue for whatever investment they wanted to make. They didn't need Cameroon Bank. They just wanted to drive Bank out. They wanted to remove them completely because it was managed by our people, and they didn't like their lending policies. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so they did
Okay.
everything to bring it down. I want to talk a bit about the Danga company.
Okay.
Danga company was doing very well, extremely well. They were paying their debts back to the Cameroon Bank, as you said, and they were expanding. At some point, they had agencies in Central African Republic. You can't believe that.
Mm.
They had contracts, not agencies. They had contracts in Central African Republic. That was how good they were doing. So the government still found a way to kill them. It's the government that killed them. They gave them contracts. They gave contracts to uh, Kilo
Nanga.
and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nanga companies.
Mm-hmm.
The University of Douala was built by Nanga company,
Mm.
and they got them when it was time to pay for the job. Well done. They said they come up with stories like, "Oh, you are owing a lot of taxes. If you want us to pay us, you have. If you want us to pay you for the contracts you have just executed, you have to pay those taxes
Taxes.
first."
Ha.
So the
Oh,
the
wow.
the, the Nanga people said, "Well, if you are owing me and I am owing you, let's see which one is owing the other a larger sum."
More. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then the one owing the larger sum will not take away the difference.
Yeah.
They take away what the other person is owing, and then pay the difference. They say, well, subtract whatever you claim that we are owing you. Subtract it from what you are supposed to pay us, and then pay us our due. They said no. That is what triggered the death of Nanga Company.
Nanga. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the Nanga company was competing with French constructors. Because remember, one of the clauses of the Accord de Coopération was that all public contracts uh, must be awarded
Yeah.
to, not in those words, but that is what it meant, must be awarded to French enterprises. So the government just, I don't know whether they were just testing the waters or not. They awarded this contract to build the University of Douala to Nanga, and the French were furious. So they found that way to get Nanga out of the picture. Yep.
Wow. So it is the contract that they did in Douala and they were not paid that they actually folded up because they folded up in Douala.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was just about that one contract. I know French had, sorry, Nanga had several contracts going on. So I don't know whether that was the one, but that was one of them. That story is very well known.
Wow. Oh, okay. Right. Thank you very much. I think that the Amazonian people are very much interested in this history. Before you jumped out, you were analyzing this situation that has gone round in the social media, and we are almost getting not really confused, but want to put the general public to know that each individual is responsible for his actions, even if that individual is a leader of a group of people, but he is responsible as an individual. In that case, and in that sense, what would you say with the present noise that is going on in the social media as touching the project and the program that the coup plotters came up to say they are going for election?
Well, I don't know whether we should be meddling in their affairs, but
Okay.
let's just wait and see what the result of their elections will be. Let's not be showing a lot of interest in what they are doing. That's their private affair.
Thank,
Let,
thank you
let
very
them
much.
yeah,
I,
let them
I
go.
buy that.
Yeah, let's not take away our attention from our goal. Uh, our attention should be on the prize. We have our eyes on the prize. So let's be going that way. Leave them, all the distractors and all the coup plotters. Let them keep on amusing the the audience. Let's forget about that. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
I will not address that.
Okay, good. I think that was just an incentive to take us to a practical issue that is actually what I want Ambazonians to learn as far as our history is concerned. Can you remember any of the nations, like you mentioned, Eritrea and the other nations that stood and fought for their independence and fought for their freedom? Have they had such situations that we are facing today that you know of, like the one I
Well,
just
yes.
mentioned and we are bypassing?
Yeah, to talk of Algeria, they fought. The French considered Algeria as French overseas territory. More than a colony. It was part of France. But then that's why they didn't want to leave, and they had a bitter war. And at the end, the French president came out to say, "Je vous ai compris. I have understood you." Yeah, and then they surrendered and left after a very bitter war, and which caused so many people who were later called. So you see, they use this the same expression, but in French they called it pied noir. Pied noir means black leg. Yeah. So
Okay.
those people had to be had to be. evacuated and taken to France, because if they remain in their country, they would have been killed by the other, mistreated by the other Algerians,
Okay.
because they betrayed them. They sided with the enemy. So France evacuated them. And life in France was better. They put them in cars. They couldn't mix with the people.
All right. Your
They
line
set them
is
aside.
d-
Yeah, they were living in camps for a very long time. So who want to cooperate with La Republic, those
okay. We are having a
hello.
problem with your line is breaking off, and we are having a little problem getting you very clearly. Um, okay, you can go ahead now. I think your line is back.
Yeah, the case of Algeria ought to serve as a lesson to us, those of us
Mm-hmm.
who want to betray our country of Amazonia and want to side with the enemy. When the time comes, they will be sorry for what they have done, and they will not be
Oh,
able to live in La République du Cameroon, because those people will say, "Well, you betrayed your brothers, so why are you here? Go back to your country." They will get that. They will. Yeah.
okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that's what I
there's
wanted
there.
to. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to say that actually the people of Ambazonia have heard that there were a people in Algeria that were called blacklegs. And at the end of the day, these blacklegs could not stay in Algeria. They had to run to France. Now, with La République du Cameroon and the Ambazonians, I want you to know that history is repeating itself. And these things you might not have heard, and you did not know
Mhm.
about it in Ambazonia. Now you are knowing that actually there were blacklegs in the war of liberation of Algeria. At the end of
Mhm.
the day, they ran to France because they could not stay in that land. Now, if
Mhm.
you are standing with La République du Cameroon and trying to fight Ambazonia, tomorrow as a blackleg, I don't know where you're going to go because France will not even
I
want to
don't know
receive
either.
you.
Mhm.
France will not want to
Yeah.
receive you because your language alone betrays you,
Mhm.
and they know
Mhm.
that you are not part and parcel of them. So a
Mhm.
word to a wise is enough. La Republic
Mhm.
has deceived you enough and is still deceiving you, but right now you have an opportunity to get back to your house, get back to your
Mhm.
LGA, become the
Mhm.
prodigal son. I am sure the Ambazonian people in your LGA will receive you and rehabilitate you and then
Mhm.
restructure you and make you to come back to the honesty of Ambazonia.
Mhm.
Now, sir, you mentioned a name that you used to call them black legs. How is the name pronounced in that their language?
Pied noir.
Okay,
Pied is
Pierre
foot.
foot. Okay,
Noir,
okay. So the black leg
which
we are
means
using today is not originated by us. It was had existed before.
no, no, we didn't invent that. No.
Okay, all right. So ambassadors should note this is somebody who has lived history and is talking history to us. That the word black leg, it was not invented by us, so it did not originate from us. So if you are a
Mhm.
black leg, just know that there was a place found for black legs from Algeria, and today I don't know where that is going to come for you. Pierre Noir. All right, that's Pierre Noir. So if you are a Pierre
Pied,
Noir,
pied, pied, that is
uh-huh,
P. uh,
IED.
IED.
Okay, PIED. That's
Mm-hmm.
foot noir. Okay,
Noir.
black leg. Okay, we call it black leg. Okay, but they call it
Yes, that's it.
black foot. All
Yes,
right,
that's it.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's how they say it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I think our time is fast spent. I will just crave your indulgence to share an important nugget to the people of Amazonia who are still
Mm-hmm.
standing, that they can be among this few percentage. I heard that there were just about 30% of the Americans that stood firm for the freedom of America. What
Mm-hmm.
encouragement will you give to the percentage of the people that are standing as a never again generation to see that Amazonia gets to their land? Over to you, sir.
Well, the people, especially at the home front, have to remain steadfast. We are getting to Boya sooner rather than later. We will be there.
Right,
So this is not the time to give up. I know they are suffering a lot. Their suffering cannot even be compared. No, rather, the financial contributions we make from out here cannot even be compared to their suffering down there. They are suffering
right,
very much, but we still have only them to
right.
shoulder that burden, and we hope that they do not give up. And then we will get to Boya, and things will improve greatly. The nation of Amazonia will not and will never forget them. They will be grateful to them, and I'm sure they will do everything to help them recover from all this trauma. Yeah, there is something I wanted to say even before we started about the m- deceptive ways that Republic du Cameroon does business. We have talked of Naga. They gave that some of those projects just to get them to spend their money, and then they will not pay back their money. That is a deceptive way of doing things. Today they will call that 419.
Right.
Okay, but they are doing it in other areas too. I'm saying this because recently, I think it was this very week, there was a story about a lady who is working for the United Nations Economic Community or something. She's as the Assistant Secretary General or something. Okay, and then the shocking news was that she was resigning from her position. Her name is Vera. I will just mention only the first name, Vera, and she happens to come. She happens to be an Amazonian. Okay, I hope this doesn't jeopardize her situation. What I'm saying, okay, she was among a team that went to Cameroon to do some studies or things like that, and then after she came back from that mission, she is alleged to have put in her resignation. When I hear things like that, something just ticks, and I say, "Oh, they are doing one of those. They are bad things." This has happened to other people who happen to be working in international organizations. I remember one Bamike guy, one or two, who were working in Addis Ababa for the ECA. There's United Nations agency called ECA. So ECA for Africa. Yeah, that's it. So they would call you and convince you to take a ministerial position in Cameroon or some high position. And if you accept, it happened to some Bamileke guy who briefly became Minister of Sports youth and sports. They will put you. They will appoint you a minister, and then they will go behind and fill the post you have vacated
Hmm.
at the United Nations or some other agency.
Wow.
They will now appoint another
Not
Cameroonian. They will
francophone.
propose another Cameroonian. They say, well, we are just replacing the Cameroonian that has left you guys. This is another one. Okay. Then, shortly after that, they will discard you.
From that post.
Yeah, they will drop you as a minister. There will be another mini cabinet reshuffle, and then you will be dropped. Whereas you can't go back to your United Nations or whatever agency job. I'm afraid that that's what might be happening to this young lady. Yeah,
Wow.
they have
Wow.
they have done that. They did that to another guy who came also from Addis Ababa. But before he came, people called him and said, "Look, don't go and take that job." But he still came to Cameroon and went around meeting the president and other people, and then he said, "Okay, I am I am going to get my things and come back." And then he did not come back. He went back to his job. Yeah, he saved the job by just going back and not by turning down the offer to be a minister, because what they would have done is they would have proposed another Cameroonian of their choosing, and then that would be that means a Cameroonian of the right tribe, their tribe,
Right,
to go
right,
and
right, right.
yeah, to go and fill that position, so that you,
Mm-hmm.
even though a Cameroonian will lose that position, they'll put their own man there, a woman. So that's what I am afraid for
So,
the for
yeah, I wanted
yes.
to say that anybody who knows this Vera should inform her and should quickly do so as quickly as possible if she has not yet resigned. It was just a rumor on social media. I
Uh,
personally read it. I personally
I
read it.
I I hope it was a rumor. I hope she hasn't resigned,
Yes, I hope
because
she has not done it. And
yeah,
if she
as
went to Cameroon and they promise her anything, somebody should tell her that that is the game plan that La Republique has been doing together with France for a long, long
yes,
time.
yes, they do
And
that all
so
the time. Yeah,
she
mhm,
should not dare, because if she gets
mhm,
back to that village, a few days after they will dump her.
mhm. Yes, she will be
Some
dumped,
of
and
the
then
some of the
mhm,
La Republique people have come out with a profile to talk that if truly speaking, the Southern Cameroonian was not a second class or even a third class citizen, why is it that there are some certain ministerial positions that they have never occupied in that land?
mhm, mhm.
And
Yes,
today they
that is
are trying to play the game in that their mafia group, in that cabal, to bring you in and then kick you out tomorrow and you have
mhm,
nowhere to go.
mhm,
So
yeah,
Ambazonians advise every Ambazonia who has gotten a job like Vera that she should not attempt to hear what La Republic is doing. If she drank of their cup, she should play like that other guy who went to Ethiopia and then just disappeared. He said, I'm going to bring my things and never went back because they will not haunt you in
mhm,
that place. So be
mhm,
very careful, Vera. And somebody who knows her should say that this is what the Ambazonians are telling her.
mhm.
All right. Thank you very much for that piece of information, sir. I actually read it on the social media, and it was very important you bring it up here so that the majority of the Cameroonians, I mean, of the Ambazonians, can hear this, especially their family members, and warn her, because there is no ministerial position that those people will give to us that is actually founded.
Mhm,
Tomorrow, you'll be thrown under the box. That
mhm,
is La Republic, and we must
mhm.
continuously be wise. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I don't know if you have any last words. They will call it quit for today.
Well, the last word would be that the struggle continues, and we are
The
not going
struggle
to give up.
continues. and we are not
not
giving
going
up.
to give up until we reach Boya.
Thank you very much for those words of encouragement. Yeah, the
Yeah.
struggle continues, and we are not giving up until we reach Boya.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex from Victoria. We hear you are watching and you are listening. Yes, thank you, Ni, that reminding us that there are many of the Pierre Noir in France. We know that's their headquarters. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bra Bernard. Greeting your classmate, Jutanga. Thank you very much, Grace, saying the struggle continues until we reach Boya. We are very, very grateful for all of you who have tuned in today. There is this person who has been writing to me that is finding it very difficult to come into Facebook. Well, we know that there is a game that they are playing. When you see them coming to mock themselves, that only two people are watching, they are playing a part to block the people from watching. But please, at the end of this program, it is there on Facebook. They don't want you to come live, but you can watch it at your own time. The program is also on YouTube under our history, our Amba history on YouTube. You can go in there and watch it also and be able to bring your contribution next time. And if you don't know, if you cannot reach out to us on the telephone, do as that lady did by calling us, by recording a voicemail and asking the question. I'm sure you did get your question properly answered. Well, for today, we want to say have a nice day and looking forward to meeting you on Monday. But don't go away. The other programs are coming up right away. I don't know whether the horizon is there, but I'm very sure the ethics for an emerging nation will be yours at 10 p.m. All right, let's hear when I remember. All right, Mr. Jutanga, thank you very much for coming into the studios. We shall be expecting you as the days go by for the encouragement. You are encouraging the people of Amazonia. God
Thank you
bless
very
you.
much.
Have a wonderful weekend.
More provider, provides.
You were saying something?
No.